So today's guest is a powerhouse in the music industry. My man, Solomon SOBANDE, respected executive, entrepreneur, founder of Sounds Music Group. So you're known for your work managing the late XXXTENTACION,
Yeah, absolutely.
guiding the artist's rise to global stardom,
Yeah,
and later becoming the steward of his legacy as well.
yeah. I mean, absolutely. Like my time with X, I think, was some of the most remarkable time I think a young entrepreneur can have with an artist, right? Because even though things went so fast, and unfortunately we only had a short amount of time together, it was like every single day was special, right? Like it was so special that even right now, I named my son after him, right? So it gets no more personal than that, right? It's been like 7, 8 years since he hasn't been with us anymore, and his impact is larger than while he was here, right? Like every single year, I watch the Spotify wrap ups, and I'm still so amazed that, like a Kurt Cobain, his legacy only continues to grow, right?
Yeah.
There's now new kids that are part of this cult fan base that weren't even into it while he was here, right? But the authenticity of it, right? The stuff, his spirit and his music and all of that, it just kind of it just lives on, right? In a really fascinating way. So each new generation is kind of introduced to this, and they're able to absorb it and kind of like feel his principles and understand what he was fighting for as an artist and for mental health and all of those things. And also, they can enjoy the music and have a good time to it as well.
What moment or collaboration changed your career trajectory?
So I was really smart, and I had all this information from interning at all these places and reading all these books and watching every interview ever uploaded to YouTube ever, right? But I still needed a shot to show my genius, right? I still needed an artist that was really, really, really special, that could command an audience, that knew what they wanted to do, that was polarizing, to really be able to be anything, right? It's like, as amazing as a coach that Phil Jackson was, what would he would have been without Jordan and Kobe, right? So it was that for me all the way, right? Like as great as I was, or as great as I knew I could be, I needed somebody that was on that level, even greater, to really help me get my ideas out, that opportunity to show the world, I could be a great manager, I could be a great record executive, I could be somebody that understands how to keep my thumb on the pulse of the culture if I just have the opportunity, and that opportunity came in leaps and bounds, when I met Jase, but not just when I met him, when I convinced him to believe in me, right? Because it was at a point where anybody would have wanted to sign him, right? Anybody would have wanted to work with him, right? But I understood the importance of not just his music career, but the rest of his life, and trying to get him out of jail.
Because you met him when he was inside.
I met him when he was locked up. So, I think what made my proposition a little bit more intriguing to everybody else is I was really focused on, and additionally getting him out of jail, right? In addition to just like, the record deal is cool, the distribution deals are cool, but you getting up out of jail, getting home with your family, getting to see your brother or your mom, that was really important to me as well. So it was all hands on deck doing both those things at the same time. With the lawyer that I had that was working with him, we were, spending half the time on the phone with Ghazi or Peter Edge or Craig Kalman, and half the time on the phone with Robert Trackman, his criminal lawyer, right? And that was just the everyday life until we kind of got things over the top.
And then when did you first meet in person?
So the first time we met in person, at this point, we were on the phone together for about like a few weeks.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yo, let's just meet out. Let me know your next visitation day. And I flew out to meet him, and I had this management contract that we typed up together over the phone, and literally that was it. That's literally all I had. I had a round trip ticket, like $100 in cash, and $100 bill, and the management agreement that was folded up. Right? I didn't even have a pen. And, you know, we sat down. I met up with Orlando. Me and Orlando went to go talk to him together. And, you know, I saw his eyes. And I kind of tell the story before, but like I saw his eyes. And it was when I saw his eyes, he had these beautiful eyes. Like I kind of like fell in love with him. I was like, I got you, bro. You know, there was a level of innocence, right? And a vulnerability that showed like, yo, bro, I'm fucked up. I'm in jail. Like, I need you, fam. Like, please be everything you said you was gonna be, right? And in my mind, I'm like, yo, I know what it's like to get let down. I'm not letting you down, bro. I'm here for you. I'm gonna be here for you forever. And, you know, I kind of really stuck to those principles, right? As best as I could, right? Even now for his son or to his family or whatever the case, whatever they would have needed of me, it would have been no problem.
Like, how did you two form a relationship built on trust during a period of X's life where I'm sure he didn't have much faith in others?
Well, it took a lot, right? And it took a lot of time, and we would talk on the phone every day. And I really we both had to prove it to each other, right? In a way, like he had to prove to me that he was really serious about being an artist and being this person that was gonna have this crazy impact, right? Because that was where he was really focused on, this having this crazy generational level impact. So for me, I really had to prove to him that I was gonna be there for him, right? That I wasn't, you know, just trying to get some clout or whatever, right? That I was going to be there for him for where it counted. If things went left, if he would have ended up going back to jail or whatever the case may be, right? He wanted to know that, you know, he had abandonment issues, right? You know, stemming from his mom and whatever the case may be. So I think it was really important to him to know that he had a team that was going to really, really, really be there for him no matter what. And, you know, over time, I was able to show him, like, yo, bro, I'm not going nowhere, right? We could fight, we could argue, but I got your best interests at heart, right? Like, your best interests are my best.
You guys would fight and argue over what was best and how to do things. And I think every good relationship is like that.
It has to be that way, right? Because if it's not, then it's just like you really just getting yes met, right? And it wasn't my job to be that. He had a bunch of other people around him that could be that, right? But I just wanted to make sure that, like, when the dust settled or when I looked back at everything, I could be proud of it, at least my part of it, right? So I always had to be truthful.
You mentioned like polarizing, which I think is one of the things that drew so many people to X and myself, and just how he navigated and did things. Like, how was it moving with that crew? Like, so what was your day-to-day like?
It was always crazy. It was always like, oh my God, I hope we don't get arrested. Oh my God, I hope somebody else doesn't get arrested, and I hope there's not a big crazy fight, right? Because like even on tour, right, when we did the Revenge tour, it was fucking pandemonium all day long, right? From, you know, you wake up in the morning, you go to the mall, you get chased out of the mall, you know, you go to the shows, kids are crying, you know, they're getting carried out by ambulances, they're holding up their broken arms, broken legs, broken collarbones, whatever it is, like it's some type of relic, right? With honor, right? Like I remember one time I seen a kid, the ambulance carrying him out on a stretcher, and he was screaming. I was like, "Oh my God, are you okay? You gonna sue us?" He said, "Fuck no, it's the Revenge tour." And I was just like, "Oh shit." Right, and it was like on that road, I was really realizing the impact of these kids that they were having. Right, the kid didn't give a fuck that his arm was broke. He was proud that his arm got broken in fucking Phoenix, Arizona. So, you know, shit like that. Just it was never a dull moment. Right, we were always getting in trouble. There was always some bullshit. There was always a lawsuit rolling around the corner for something somebody did, but. No, it was really an exciting time, man, and I get to look back on it and just smile. Happy.
The friendship as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know what? Why it was? Because even though we would argue and fight and we would all go through so much, we had a lot of fucking fun together.
Yeah,
right? We had a lot of fucking fun together. Right? There was a lot of laughs. You know. Anybody that, you know, luckily got the chance to know Jase would know he was a big jokester, right? So he was always playing around and just having a good time. And, you know, he just wanted to take care of his friends and just live his dreams, man. The kid went through so much by the time I met him, right? You know, There was the buildup of mental health from it going unaddressed to, him being incarcerated, which doesn't help that a lot.
No.
Right? But, it gave him the space to where he got to create amazing bodies of work like 17, right? So he was even though he was a kind of a tortured soul in a bit, it was beautiful because it was like he was kind of getting he was getting to express himself in this way that was so true to him. And it was like a release, like, when he was on stage or when he was performing, you could literally see like there's not a care, right? Like after he would like walk off the stage and I would like grab him and, his body would kind of feel weak. And I'm like, oh shit, you really just gave it your all. And every night he would be crazy. It was really amazing to watch.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
And I think you've mentioned it a few times, like his story and his music touched deeply on mental health. How has that friendship and journey informed how you support the artists you work with emotionally now?
Well, starting out with him, he was the first real life close up example that I ever had dealing with like mental health. And at that time, I was young, but I wasn't that young, but I didn't know nothing about it. Right, I really didn't know. Right at that time,
how old were you?
A lot of other people, I was 27.
Yeah,
35 now. So it's like when I would first, meet X, and I know he was going through a lot, and he would tell me sometimes like I'm not happy, and I would look at him like, yo, bro, how you not happy? You got the #1 record in the world, your career's going great, we're working on the court stuff. When he would just tell me like, yo, I'm just facing a lot of shit, I'm just going through a lot of shit, and it made me really understand that like it's not all that you see. Right, there's a lot of layers that us as people go through, right? That, the outside doesn't get to see. So now when I'm dealing with an artist, like I care about what you're going through. I care if there's a mental health problem. I am going to get you help. I am going to do the things. I think everybody should figure out the best way for it is to help whoever that's in their circle that may be dealing with some type of mental health issues. But, I just think it's a thing that I'm really proud of that he flashed the light on, right? Because 100%. It's something that, especially in our communities, would have went unchecked for a lot longer, right? If he didn't really flash a global flashlight on that, like, yo.
It was taboo for a while.
Yeah.
People don't want to talk about it.
Facts.
And then you have someone of influence who everyone looks to for strength and for leadership. They start talking about the shit you're going through.
Yeah. So it's in a way it's beautiful, right? Because even though he had to harbor so much pain, he's helping so many other people release theirs, right? So that in itself is just like a wonderful thing. Like, it's bittersweet not having him here no more, right? Like, I remember there's times where I've seen, my son and his daughter play, and it's just wow, like part of me gets very angry that he's not here to see this, right? But then I'll go home and I'll put my kids to sleep and I'll search through my Instagram and, I'll see a young person, 14, 15, 16, talking about, yo, I was going to kill myself, but X's music saved my life, right? And I will get those messages for a long time, but it wasn't till I lost him and I started having my own children that I realized how precious life was, right? Till I started realizing how much of a blessing it was for me to get those messages from strangers, right? That we really did something, right? Because I think about, my 2 kids now that I love more than anything in the world. Like, I wouldn't know what to do if I would have lost one of my kids to anything, especially not, the perils of their own mind, right? So, I'm forever grateful for, what he did and what we did together.
What are some of your favorite memories?
So my favorite memory ever was him first getting out of jail. We did this documentary with Hulu, and thank goodness they caught that on tape, right? It was like, I think it was like moments of him just being released, and my taxi pulls up, and we've spent so much time, months and months at this point, on the phone with each other all day long, right? From 9 a.m. to when he gets his jet phone privileges. We take the break at 2, from 12 to 2, and then from 2 to 9 when the phone is off, right? We're on the phone every single day. So to be able to hug him and to feel his presence and to be in that moment with him was so special to me, right? Because it's like, oh my fucking God, we did it, right? And I didn't know we was going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
But we tried our hardest and we fucking did it. And you're free, right? And you're right here, right? You got a little ankle monitor, but who cares, right? Like, ankle jewelry is cool.
I love that, bro.
Best examples that I ever got was working with X, because the only thing that mattered was his audience, right? And that's the best advice I can give to any upcoming artist. The only thing that matters is your audience and your relationship with them. Because somehow, some way, if you're able to fart on a track, like I'm talking flatulence, right? And somehow, some way, that flatulence is getting 100, 200,000 streams a day, every A&R in the business is going to pull up on you and tell you got the most sweetest sounding asshole ever. It's the truth.
It is.
Shit, I might even pull up to you and tell you that. But that's the reality, right? So the most important thing you can do is to cater to your audience and build your audience and make that audience go and be a champion for you and make them get their friends and their family and everybody else to support you. And the way you really do that is you give yourself to them, right? In the way that X did, right? The connecting with them. I remember being on stage and he's screaming his phone number out on the mic, right? Like his actual phone number.
His actual phone number?
Yeah, and I'm watching after the show, that phone vibrates so hard, it's like about to start smoking and exploding, right? It's like everybody's calling it, the phone don't even know what to do. But
you have to get brand new phone.
Yeah, seriously. Literally, I had to go get a new phone the next day. But that's what it was about, right? And, he would still answer that phone as much as possible, answer those DMs as much as possible. It's all about the experience you have with your fans, right? That's all it's about. Because if they love you, even if it's small, right? Like I always tell artists, you're better off being independent and having 5,000 to 10,000 fans that really love you and that really support you than being signed to a major label and don't nobody know who you are, right? So it's like, it's just about that experience you can make. If you can, J. Cole's a great example of that, right? He's made this experience with his fans throughout the year. They've grown older with him. They're able to spend more money as he tours or whatever the case may be, but they're with him, right? And they love him and their kids and the next generation is coming up under him. They're all seeing it for what it is, right? Somebody that really cares about their craft and really cares about the audience that's attached to it. So I think that's the best thing that you can do. And it kind of, in a way, it makes it so it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing, right? If you're able to really build a great audience and then cater to that audience, it doesn't matter what, anything could be going on, anything could be popping. You'll always have an opportunity to do what you want to do because you have the built-in audience.
Do you celebrate your wins enough?
So I'm trying to now because, through X and, K-Flock and a lot of people, I just realized life is real short, right? So it's like, I remember I used to get on X like, yo, you spending too much money, these private jets, this, that. And now I'm happy he did all of that, right? Because his time here was so short, right? In the same space. I'm not saying don't be, financially irresponsible, but I think there's a certain way, that you got to basically, this shit is not easy, right? To get up here, whether you're an artist, manager, A&R, agent, whatever it is, lawyer, this is a hard business to be in. And, it's not easy to keep going. So it's okay to pat yourself on the back or do whatever it is to make yourself feel good. And, I'm a firm believer of that, especially now, right? Because when it's all said and done, when I'm up there watching my highlight tape, I want it to be exciting, right? I want it to be exciting. Like I want everybody to go, oh shit, you see that?
Everyone come look.
Yeah, facts.
We do this.
So I want it to be like that. So I'm celebrating, man, as much as I can.
Nice. When you start working with a new artist, what does your process look like for mapping out their career? Like, are you a big 5-year arc guy, or are you more instinctual? Like, how do you move?
So I think it's really a lot of conversations in the beginning, right? Because it's like, I got to basically download your whole life really quickly, right? And then your wants, and then your hopes, and your dreams and your aspirations, and really just have a really like deep understanding of why you're doing what you're doing and what you're looking to get out of it, right? Because I feel like that is at least the beginning of understanding how am I gonna get this person from A to Z, right? How am I gonna make them happy? How am I gonna make them feel like I'm doing a good job and their goals are getting accomplished in a reasonable amount of time?
I wanted to ask you a question about the estate. So how have you managed to ensure that X's legacy is protected through the estate, and it's in an industry that often can jump on posthumous releases and things are done a certain way? I've always watched how you've navigated that so well. That must be hard, man.
So I basically, from the moment he died to probably about, I want to say maybe like February, March maybe of last year, I ran the estate. I'm no longer involved with the estate. Me and his mom had like some personal issues where, we basically took a stop, working with each other. But for me, the easiest thing to do, there's a twofold thing, right? Number one, what was Jase's expressed wishes, right? That was always the number one fueling thing, right? What was the issue? What were his wishes that were expressed to the people that were here? Number two, what do the fans want?
Yeah.
Simple as that, right? What do the fans want, right? So, maybe, around the first posthumous release, me and his mom didn't really see eye to eye much because I think there was a lot of creative liberties that were taken that the fans didn't necessarily agree with. They couldn't really
get behind
understand oh, who is this person, right? Like Tom G, I think good rapper or whatever the case may be. But at the time, his mom, who wasn't trying to do anything bad, was just trying to use her son's platform to give another artist a chance, which isn't anything, bad at all. But in the same space, it's I don't think that she was sensitive about how his audience was going to feel, right? So there was those type of growing pains, but for the most part, right, his brand was so clear and so decisive that we kind of knew what to do. And then, for the fact that we loved him, we spoke to him every single day, right? Even though there would be arguments, fights, or whatever shit here some days, right? We knew what the vision was, right? We knew what he was building after, what he was going for, what he was hoping for. So, yeah, it just made things a lot different.
What was the most important lesson that X taught you?
I think one of the most important things I personally take away, right, is I remember one time we were hanging out, I think we was in LA or something like that, and he grabs my phone and he saves a calendar, like a reminder in my reminders, and the reminder was yo, do what you got to do so good that people basically pay you more for it. It was something along those lines.
Yeah.
Let me actually look at it. See, I still got the reminder to this day. It was work harder every day so nobody has to ask you.
What does that mean to you?
It was a simple thing to where it was just if you go be the best that you could be every single day, nobody can complain about you, right? Nobody has to tell Kobe Bryant, while he was here, to wake up and go shoot some free throws, right? Nobody had to tell that to LeBron James or to anybody who was that focused on basketball on that same level, right? And he would basically tell me that about his own artistry, right? His own, when it comes to making music or doing whatever it is, let me go be the best I could be at all times. And that's just really how I took it. And, I kept it as my 6 a.m. reminder every single day. So I see it every single day, and it's just another way to remember my brother.
What is the achievement you're most proud of in your career so far, and why? And this can be hard because I know you work with so many talented people that you believe in, but if I was purely asking for your most proud of achievement, what would that look like?
I have to say thing I'm most proud of is my 2 children. Right after that, strictly focused on career-wise, what I'm most proud of, but in a more so, I guess, not materialistic thing, but an achievement thing, I would want to say X's Diamond songs, right? There's like 3 or 4 of them, but like I'm really grateful for those because in a way, like I know everybody says a Grammy is the highest honor in music, but that's not really true, right? Because you could buy a Grammy, right? And I've seen them be bought, right? No disrespect to whoever was watching, but a diamond record, right? That goes to show, 10 million plus people supported you domestically right here in your own country, right? I don't think it gets any more, like it gets no bigger than that, right? And there's only what 70, 80 songs in history. It's less than 100 songs last time I checked, right? That have gotten that accomplishment, right? So to know that the likes of Bob Marley, Jay-Z, Beyonce, I'm just naming all my favorite artists ever, right? And this young kid from Broward County has made a few songs that will live forever. Amongst those songs is iconic. It's iconic. I'm so proud of his legacy. I named my son after him so we can continue it and just to show honor.